Hello, I'm Natasha Hussein, and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Chaos continues to grip U.S. university campuses as peaceful pro-Palestinian protests morphed into clashes. At UCLA, rival protesters clashed at pro-Palestinian encampments hours after riot police swooped on Columbia University to arrest students refusing to end their sit-ins. The protests first started at Columbia on April 17th to pressure the university to sever links with Israeli firms. That's since morphed into a national, even international campaign. Students at the Ivy League institution ignored a Monday deadline to dismantle their encampment and barricaded themselves inside Hamilton Hall. Students have renamed the building Hind Hall in memory of 6-year-old Palestinian Hind Rajab, who was killed in Gaza in February. Our correspondent Frank is at the Columbia campus and explains how the situation has escalated.
It's been a tumultuous 2 weeks here on the campus of Columbia University. There have been a lot of protests. Back on April 18th, New York City police swept onto the campus for the first time to arrest protesters who were demonstrating against the university's policies regarding Israel and investments. They wanted them to divest of any funds that came from the state of Israel. Then tonight, the whole roller coaster ride of emotions and protests came to a violent end as police in riot gear swept back onto the campus at the invitation of the university to take the protesters off the campus green, get the protesters out of their tents, off the lawn, but also a special police tactical team came onto the campus. They went up a ramp onto a second-floor balcony of the Hamilton building, and they started arresting protesters who were barricaded inside. They had broken into that building Monday night, smashing windows and doors to get in and then barricading themselves. Right now, they are being charged with criminal mischief and also burglary in the third degree. And the people that were camped out on the university lawn, well, they are charged with criminal trespassing. We've also heard that many of the people that were protesting outside the university here were not even students. They were outside agitators, according to some police sources, and even the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, was saying that there were outside pressures that were creating the disturbances both on the campus and off the campus here in the streets of New York.
Despite all the clashes with law enforcement and arrests and expulsions, students are determined to continue their protests in support of Gaza.
Police being here doesn't mean we lost. It means we won in the most glorious way possible.
The level of violence that I have seen is truly unmatched. Unarmed American activist students, brave students, are becoming the Palestinians of America.
Back up!
We immediately see the unequal level of power.
What's wrong with you? What the is wrong with you?
Let go! She's not resisting!
Look up, open your eyes. You're gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay.
Do not allow anyone to tell you the fact that you are standing up for what is right is wrong. They are the ones that are wrong. You will one day be celebrated in the history books because this is a just cause.
Really, these students are peaceful, are asking for the end of a genocide, the end of the killing of innocent civilians.
And the people who tell us we are wrong for being out here, they are going to be footnotes in the history books.
They can suspend every single one of us and we'll still be here.
They can put us in jail, we'll come back again. Like,
yeah.
We're not leaving.
Let the students go!
The Philippines is sweltering through another week of extreme heat. Authorities across Southeast Asia triggered health alerts and schools have shut down across the island nation. Emily is in the capital Manila and spoke to Filipinos about how they're keeping cool.
I'm at one of Metro Manila's popular outdoor shopping precincts, and normally this is a hive of activity, but because it's set to reach 43 degrees today, many people have opted to stay at home or are at a mall where they can enjoy the air-conditioned environment. I spoke to some Filipinos here in Metro Manila and asked them how they're keeping cool.
Try to, go to a cool place like inside a store.
I'm not really staying cool. I just drink a lot of cold water.
And you?
The aircon keeps me cool.
Shower 3 times a day and not wearing a long coat with
You're wearing a long coat. How are you doing that in 40 degrees?
This is for fashion only.
It is not just Manila that is scorching across the Philippines. It's set to reach more than 40 degrees in dozens of provinces. In a province known as Bicol, it's set to get to 48 on Wednesday, but it's nowhere near as hot as an area known as Zambales, which got to 53 degrees on Sunday, which is an extremely dangerous level. Now, many Filipinos have taken to social media to show how they are keeping cool. Being an archipelago nation, people have opted to go for a swim in the ocean, or if they're lucky enough to enjoy a dip in the pool. There's also the universal heat test of seeing if you can fry an egg in a pan outside, which one Filipino woman managed to do very successfully.
The weather is very, very hot here in the Philippines, so I cook egg.
The Department of Education has closed thousands of schools across the Philippines as a precaution, and health authorities are urging people to stay inside as much as possible. Now, March, April and May are typically the driest and the hottest months here in the Philippines, so this is nothing new for Filipinos, but it's been exacerbated by El Nino, which is now more frequent and severe due to the climate crisis. As for when we're expected to get relief, well, experts say that could be by June or hopefully mid this month. Let's hope it's the latter.
Binance's billionaire founder Changpeng Zhao, better known as CZ, has been sentenced to 4 months in prison in the U.S. for lapses that allowed cyber criminals and terrorists to trade freely on the world's largest crypto exchange. In court on Tuesday, CZ apologized for allowing money laundering to flourish at Binance. His sentence is far below the 3 years behind bars requested by prosecutors seeking to make an example of CZ in the relatively unregulated crypto space that's been rocked by high-profile scandals of late. Back in November, CZ struck a deal with the U.S. Justice Department to step down as Binance CEO and pay a $50 million fine. Binance was also ordered to pay $4.3 billion in fines. CZ may no longer be running Binance, but it's reported he still has an estimated 90% stake in the exchange. Some analysts say the verdict shows that crime does pay, seeing as CZ gets to keep his vast wealth.
Prosecution, 36 months in total. So 4 months is radically less than what they had hoped for. And the judge, when he was handing down this sentence, was largely unsympathetic to the argument that the government made that this was a calculated decision by Changpeng Zhao, by CZ, to evade money laundering rules, to not have a money laundering program in place at Binance. So a slap on the wrist, I think you could characterize it as in terms of like what it might have been otherwise.
And we should point out, I mean, he pled guilty to these charges, anti-money laundering charges, and there was another charge in there I'm forgetting here, and he agreed to pay a pretty hefty fine.
Yeah,
right?
$50 million. Yeah. And I think what's tricky about this is it's entangled with this other plea deal that the company made for $4.3 billion. Mm-hmm. So in that is a swirl of all of the things that Binance admitted to doing, that is facilitating a lot of transfer of money among illegal entities. He very narrowly pleaded to this charge of just not having this money laundering program, anti-money laundering program in place. So all of that exists on the sidelines, but his was much narrower than that.
On X, after his sentencing, CZ thanked his fans for their support, be it through DMs or via letters, saying they keep him strong. He continued he'll do his time, conclude this phase, and focus on the next chapter of his life, which is a new web platform to promote education. CZ will remain a passive investor and holder of crypto and emphasize the need for compliance in the crypto industry's new phase. He also said the silver lining was Binance being under the microscope, adding that Binance is still a SAFU, which stands for Secure Asset Fund for Users. South Dakota Governor and Vice Presidential hopeful Kristi Noem might have to wave goodbye to being on Donald Trump's 2024 ticket after sharing a story about killing a family dog during a hunting trip. In her upcoming memoir, Noem recounts shooting the 14-month-old white-haired pointer called Cricket. She described the mutt as rambunctious and even dangerous. She even started her story by saying she hated that dog. The governor says she had to take the dog into a pit and shoot it after it attacked a neighbor's chickens and bit her. Sadly, that wasn't the end of her killing spree. She recalls dragging a nasty and mean goat on their farm and giving it the same brutal end just a week after. This has caused outrage, as you can imagine, and not just from animal rights groups or Democrats. Republicans were also disgusted with her. While she defended her actions by saying tough decisions like this are part of life on a farm, adding that they had to put down 3 horses just recently, the responses to that post disagree. Many say there are better ways to handle a dog's behavior, including training or rehoming. Shooting a puppy is an unnecessary and immoral act. Others refuted her tough decision and criticized her choices by calling her insensitive and impatient, surely qualities unfit for anyone running for office. To India now, where an incredible rescue has stunned onlookers and millions of netizens online. In the now viral video, a baby is seen perilously positioned on the very edge of a roof in the city of Chennai. The 7-month-old infant named Harin Maggi had slipped off her mother's lap while on the balcony of their 4th-floor apartment, landing on the 1st floor. Neighbors quickly leapt into action, risking their lives to pull the baby to safety from the floor below. Yup, this is the moment a neighbor pulled the infant off the roof with just one hand. Amazingly, Harin didn't sustain serious injuries, and officials say baby is doing well. Oh, so heartwarming that they saved that child. Now, Barbie's Ken, Ryan Gosling, is set to have yet another chart-topping year, but not for his musical talent this time. The actor's new movie has already started having its viral moments thanks to an action-packed premiere. Gosling arrived at the red carpet with 2 of his buddy doubles, but they didn't overshadow him for long. The stunt team was there to bring the action, as it is the theme of The Fall Guy. They jumped off from multi-story platforms and fought each other to entertain the guests, but Gosling had another viral moment of his own where he cosplayed Beavis alongside Mikey Day as Butthead, you know, the cartoon characters. The duo's SNL sketch from earlier this month was an instant hit with over 13 million views on YouTube. Gosling says, "This movie is just an elaborate campaign to get stunt actors recognized at the Oscars. Here are some daring scenes from the upcoming movie."
That's me, Colt Sievers, and this is my hero's journey.
I'm just a stunt guy!
This is an epic story. The cosmic proportions.
Stunts!
Looks like a fun one to kick off the summer blockbuster season. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.